What's going on YouTube? I'm Matt, this is Matt Does Fitness, and this is 10 reasons why you are not getting any bigger. Number 1, you are not eating enough. Now, I get told all the time, people ask me questions, loads and loads and loads. They say, I'm training well, I'm training really hard, I've been training for ages, but I'm not getting any bigger. Or they say, I am quite a skinny guy, I'm not getting any bigger, and they tell me they eat loads and loads and loads. The simple fact is you are not eating enough. Your body will not start building muscle until it has enough calories. Like, why would it do that? If it's being starved or if it hasn't got enough calories, it's got far bigger priorities than building muscle. So you need to make sure you are getting enough food, okay? Obviously, don't just eat crap. Make sure you're eating good stuff. Make sure you're getting enough of the nutrients and all that kind of stuff, but you must eat enough food, otherwise you will not get big. So find some kind of online calculator for your basic metabolic rate, factor in the amount of exercise you do, and make sure you are working at a calorie surplus. You're getting more calories than you need. Number 2, this is linked to number 1. You are probably not getting enough protein, okay? If you are trying to get bigger, you need a lot of protein. You need to be getting, I said it in a previous video, you need to be getting at least 1.5 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. That is something like 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight per day. I said I'm about 90 kilograms, so I need to get about 135 grams of protein per day at least if I want to keep getting bigger. If I don't get that, I'm making it very hard for myself. I'm making it harder for my body to repair and to build more muscle, okay? So you must be getting sufficient amount of protein. Number 3, your form is rubbish. If you want to get bigger, it is very important your technique, your form is solid. If you are going really heavy occasionally, it's fine to be a bit more kind of lax with your technique. However, when you are doing the isolation stuff and you're trying to, for example, if you're doing a chest workout, you need to make sure your form is perfect, because otherwise you're not going to isolate, you're not going to engage your chest properly, it's not going to be damaged properly, and it will not be getting the impetus to grow properly, so you are impeding your growth. So you need to make sure your form is very, very solid, okay? Watch some of my videos, watch some other videos, find out exactly what you need to be doing, and make sure your form is absolutely on point. Number 4 is you are not getting sufficient recovery. So I hear lots of people doing a kind of push-pull type split. So in their training they'll do maybe 2 back days a week and then 1 arms day. Now the problem with that is that in your 2 back days you are going to be doing a lot of bicep work. So you've effectively got 3 bicep workouts in 1 week, okay, and your biceps are not going to be able to recover properly from that workload. So what you'll find is maybe you have 2 bicep days back to back. Your biceps get damaged on the first day, you damage them again on the second day, you are impeding their ability to grow, and you're slowing down your growth, okay? So if you want to get bigger, obviously you need to do enough, but at the same time don't go too crazy, because if you do too much, it becomes counterproductive and you will slow down your growth, okay? You won't get any bigger. Conversely, number 5 is you are not training hard enough. You are pathetic. Okay, that was a bit harsh, but my point is, lots of people go to the gym and they're so used to their routine, they just kind of, they wander in, they're listening to their music, they're talking to their friends, and they're just doing their, they're doing the sets, they're doing their 10 to 12 reps, but they're never really going to exhaustion, okay, or they're not really taxing themselves. If you want to get bigger, your body has to have that stimulus. It needs to be told that it's not big enough, it's not strong enough, it needs to grow. If it doesn't have that stimulus to grow, it won't happen, okay? It's not going to happen magically, you need to force it to happen. So you must train hard, alright? Anyone you see that is big or that is really, really strong, any kind of top athletes, they train very, very hard, alright? Don't be misled, they train very hard. So if you want to get bigger, if you want to improve and get stronger, you need to make sure you're training hard. You're going to exhaustion, you're not just turning up to the gym and going through the motion, because just being in the gym for an hour doesn't necessarily mean you are going to do the work to facilitate muscle growth. You need to make sure you are putting in the work, you are working hard, you're doing it properly, okay, because otherwise it's not going to happen. Number 6, I'm on to 2 hands now. This is linked to the previous one as well, okay, and that is that you are not lifting heavy enough. Now, obviously bodybuilding, I talk about this quite a lot. Generally, we're looking at 10 to 12 reps, going to exhaustion, but when you are lifting in that kind of rep range, the weight isn't going to be massive. However, that's not to say you shouldn't lift heavy sometimes. What I found is, when I first started technically bodybuilding about a year or so ago, I was doing all of my work in the 10 to 12 rep range. It worked well initially, but after a while I found that I started to plateau, okay? I wasn't really getting any stronger. I didn't see any kind of aesthetic improvement. So what I started doing was, once or twice a week I threw in a heavy session where I dropped my rep range down to 3, 4 or 5 reps, and I went really heavy. And what I found was, I wasn't, massively sore during the session, but I was sore the day or the 2 or the 3 days afterwards, and I started to improve again, okay? So it is very important you vary your training in terms of the weights, all right? So don't always lift in the same rep ranges, don't always lift the same weights. Make sure you are progressing your weights, make sure you do the occasional heavy session. That is what's gonna stimulate the adaptation and to keep your body growing. And number 7 is that you are doing the same thing all of the time. I see this so often. I'll go to a gym, I'll see someone that I've seen in there every day for the last 6 months, and they're doing the same session. They come into the gym, they do literally the exact same session, down to the the exact same recoveries, the exact same rep ranges, the exact same weight, the exact same exercise. If you do that for too long, your body will stop adapting. That is a fact, okay? And what will actually happen is that you'll start to improve, you'll start to plateau, and then you'll start to get worse. You'll start to lose the improvements you have made, okay? You have to keep changing and progressing your training and doing different things if you want to keep improving, all right? Otherwise it won't happen. So don't always stick to the same exercises, don't always stick to the same rep ranges, and don't always stick to the same weights and recoveries and stuff. Try to mix things up. Even if it means doing something that isn't necessarily the best thing to do or isn't something you would normally do, just do something different just to mix it up, okay? So just throw in loads of reps or only a few reps but really heavy, or a complete different exercise. Make sure you do different things every so often, otherwise your body is just waiting for a chance to stop adapting, right? You need to force it to have to adapt, to have to grow, to have to get bigger, to have to get stronger, otherwise it won't happen, right? So don't do the same thing over and over and over again. Keep changing what you're doing. Number 8 is that you might be doing too much cardio, okay? So going back to the not eating enough, the reason you wouldn't get bigger if you weren't eating enough is that you haven't got a calorie surplus, all right? Now the same thing goes for doing too much cardio. Right, I was chatting to someone the other day, he's only 17, and he's kind of bodybuilding, he wants to try and get bigger, okay, and he told me what he was lifting and what he was eating, and it sounded pretty good to me, okay, but then he disclosed that he was running for 40 to 45 minutes every day of the week, okay? So there's your answer. If you are doing that much cardio, you are burning loads and loads and loads of calories, right? So if you don't start eating loads more, you will not build any muscle, right? Your body is going to be in a calorie deficit because you're burning so many calories, and so it's not going to build muscle. So you need to make sure you maintain a calorie surplus by eating enough and don't do too much cardio. Obviously doing some cardio is going to be good, but if you go crazy and you become a marathon runner, you can't expect to get big, all right? I mean, I've never personally seen a massive marathon runner. I'm fairly sure they don't exist. That's because they are burning so many calories, their body can't build that much muscle, okay? So make sure you don't do too much cardio, just do enough to maintain that calorie surplus. Number 9 is that you are not being consistent enough, okay? So you could have the best training schedule in the world, a perfect diet, you sleep perfectly, all these kind of things, but if you train well for a week and then you miss a week and you do it again and you miss a week, you are not going to make the same gains as someone that is training consistently, okay? It's all well and good doing the right stuff, but you need to do it consistently. Lots of people fail because they get this close to succeeding, but it's taken too long, and they get disheartened and they give up, all right? And they come back again and they have to start from scratch. You need to be consistent. If you keep persisting and you maintain that consistency, eventually you will reach your goals, okay? I promise you that. So consistency is very, very important. It is absolutely key. Number 10, the last reason as to why you're not getting bigger is that you might be doing things that are too advanced for your current level. Now, unless you have a high training age, you've been training for quite a while and you've already got lots of improvements and you've started to plateau out, there is no reason why you should be doing really advanced training, okay? So I'll give you an example. If you have a guy that's been training for 3 months, okay, and he's making good improvements, and he says, right, my bench press, I find that the bottom part of my bench is the weakest part, so I'm going to dedicate 1 session a week to strengthening this part of my bench press, the bottom part, and I'm going to work on some technique, okay? that is a waste of time. If you're trying to get bigger, there is no point looking at those little kind of nuances. You need to look at your schedule as a whole, okay? So just maintain a nice overall training plan where you're hitting each body part, you're doing the correct rep ranges, and you are varying it up every so often. If you do those things, you will get bigger, okay? Obviously, when you get to a level where you've hit loads of improvements, loads of gains, and you're starting to level out, that's when you can start doing those little kind of technical, more advanced training things, okay? But if you were in that initial kind of new phase, there is no need to go that in depth, okay? Stick to the basics, eat enough food, get enough sleep, and you will keep improving, you will keep getting stronger, you will keep getting bigger without having to worry about it too much. And that is my 10 reasons why you are not getting any bigger. Now, I'm feeling generous today, so I'm going to give you one more bonus reason, and that is that you are not watching enough Matt Does Fitness. I've been watching it myself for the last 6 months, and it is incredible. I've made astounding gains in every area of my life, so, I mean, you need to do the same, okay? Thanks for watching, make sure you share and subscribe, and I'll see you later.